So Thomas speaks up and says, fine, if we're going to him, let's just go die. We'll just all go die with Jesus. They're going to stone him anyway. Oh, what a nice religious attitude. Jesus says, Lazarus is dead. I'm going to show you something. I'm going to teach you, show you something. Things are going to happen. Life's going to change. And what does he do? What does Thomas do? He gets religious. Oh, well, praise God, dude. We just got to go through some things. You know, this is what... Oh, I'm suffering for the glory of God. I'm thinking the man just didn't get it. And I'm thinking a lot of times we just don't get it. We'll withdraw into our religious spirit, into a religious attitude, instead of finding out what is God doing, what is he doing, what is he seeing, what is he about to do in this situation. Then when Jesus came, verse 17, he found he that had lain in the grave 4 days already. Now Bethany was near to Jerusalem, about 15 furlongs, about 2 miles. And many of the Jews came to Martha and Mary to comfort them concerning their brother. Then Martha, as soon as she had heard Jesus was coming, went and met him, but Mary stayed in the house. Then Martha said unto Jesus, Lord, if you had been here, my brother had not died. What did she just do? If you had been here, let me find my spot, verse 21. He wouldn't have died. But I know that even now, whatsoever you will ask of God, God will give it to you. See, what does she do? She kind of throws her faith out there. Lord, whatever you ask, if you had been here, Lazarus wouldn't have died. But whatever you ask, he'll give it to you. It's a good start, isn't it? That's where we start. Then Jesus said unto her, Your brother shall rise again. Martha said, I know that he shall rise again in the resurrection at the last day. What did she just say? If you had been here, he'd have lived. She looked at the situation, knew if Jesus had been here, he'd have done something. And because whatever you ask God, he'll do it. Not thinking, Jesus speaks and says, okay, he's going to rise again. Well, that's impossible. Yeah, in the last day, she gets religious on him. In the last day, he'll rise again. How many of us do that? Lord, if you had been here, something would have happened. You could have stopped this. Huh? Oh, you're preaching along with me. If you had been here, Lord, if you had been in this situation, I know you were close, but if you had been here, you could have done something. And Jesus speaks to you and says, you're going to rise again. Your problem is going to be worked out. It's not a problem. Yeah, well, I know one day. See the mindset we get? What does he want us to have? The same mindset that he has. This is going to work out. I'm going to change this. I'm now on the scene. This is going to be turned around like that. The power of God has now shown up to bring life. He's going to rise again. Well, yeah, one day, if you'd have been here, instead of going with the life of Jesus, we go with religious attitude that's so unbelievably ingrained in us that we can't believe when Jesus speaks. It's impossible, almost impossible for us to believe because this attitude, yeah, well, this is hard. Being dead's hard. You know, it's hard to turn that around. And the reason, and I know you probably know this, the reason he stayed 4 days was because he was going at the religious attitude. From what I read, you know, you read in dates, you get all kinds of little notes here and there, that the priests believe that 3 days the spirit went around, was outside the body, and you know, in the area. But 4 days when decomp started, then the spirit left. On the 4th day, the spirit was gone. But 3 days, the body could come back to life. 4 days, no, not possible. So what did Jesus do? He waits 4 days just to go against the religious spirit. And the religious spirit is all around the place. How do you go against the religious spirit? The power of God, the life of Jesus. So, Where did I leave off? Thy brother shall rise again. Yep, I know he'll rise. Jesus said unto her, I am the resurrection and I am the life. He that believes in me, though he were dead, yet shall he live. And whosoever lives and believes in me shall never die. Do you believe this? Believest thou this? In other words, do you believe this? What is he saying? I am the resurrection and the life. He that believes in me, though he were dead, yet shall he live. What is he saying? It doesn't matter how much dead life you've got in you. It doesn't matter how dead you were, how dead you are, how dead you think you are. I'm the resurrection and the life. You believe in me, though you were dead, yet shall you live. Death can't outdo me. I'm on the situation now. I'm here. I'm on the scene. It doesn't matter how bad it looks. Life has shown up to take care of this situation. Do you believe this? She said unto him, Yes, Lord. I believe that you're the Christ, the Son of God, which should come into the world. And when she had said so, she went her way and called Mary, her sister, secretly, saying, The Master is come and calls for you. So what happens? All this goes on, all this back and forth is going on. What's Jesus doing? He's trying to build her faith. He's trying to say, look, I'm here. This is what's coming. Get ready. This is coming. Get ready, get ready, get ready, get ready. How many get readies have you gotten in your life? I've been saved 28 years. You know how many get readies I've gotten in my life? I've been in the ministry 26 years. I've gotten 26 years of get ready. I got 2 years of get ready before I ever got in the ministry. 28 years of get ready, it's coming. I must be a hard case. Sometimes I think, boy, what's that?
I beat you.
Oh, I thought you were agreeing with me.
Oh yeah, that's it.
28 years of get ready, it's coming. What's Jesus doing? He's putting his life in the situation. He's building his life into the situation. He's taken over the situation. I'm the resurrection and the life. How many of you believe that for you? Whatever your flesh is doing, whatever your hard spot in life, whatever your sickness is, you're without strength, you're powerless, you're dying. I'm the resurrection and the life. The Lord has been 2 miles away for a long time. All of a sudden, he shows up on the situation. And he shows up saying, I'm the resurrection and the life. You believe in me, though you were dead, you're going to live. We lose sight of the fact that we can live. We don't have to walk in death. We don't have to walk in sickness. We don't have to walk in torment. We don't have to walk in fear. We don't have to walk in darkness. We don't have to walk in all this stuff. I'm the resurrection of life. You believe in me, you'll live. Whosoever lives and believes in me shall never die. This body's going to quit one day. I will never die. I don't know about you, but I like that. I like that. I'm never going to die. Do you believe this? That's what he asked her. Do you believe this? How many of you really, really, honestly, truly believe this? And it's more than mental assent. It's a belief that this changes my life. This will change me viewing situations from here. I'm now going to view it from his point of view. What can God do? What can Jesus do when he shows up on a situation? Anything. Anything at all. What does he do? He brings life. And I'm going to get into this in a minute, but the responsibility that Jesus has in your life is one thing. Bring life. Bring life. That's where his responsibility ends. He brings power. He brings life. Your job is to walk in it. His responsibility is not to drag you along. His responsibility is to give you everything you need. That's life. That's the Spirit of God. It's the gifts. It's the fruits. It all comes in the package. He brings life into the situation, into your life. Then we'll get down to our responsibility in a minute. Lord, I believe, Son of the world. Verse 29. As soon as she'd heard that, she arose and came unto him. Now Jesus was not yet come into the town, but was in the place where Martha met him. He hadn't even showed up completely on the situation yet. He was just getting closer and closer. But in his getting closer, what happens? There he was making his declarations of this is what's going to happen. Stop and back up here a second. At the beginning of this, what happens? I know what's going on. In the middle of this, he's getting closer. What happens? He tells you, here's what's going to happen. He went from, I know what's going on, to here's what's going to happen, to when he shows up on the scene, what happens? He does it. We don't like that progression. Lord, I'm in a problem. Do it. That doesn't take any faith, does it? That doesn't take, there's no time span there. There's no time of testing and trial and do I believe God and what's in me and you're changing my life and I'm having to go through situations. There's no time of how's God looking at my situation? Am I seeing it from His point of view? To now He's close and He's telling me this is what I'm going to do. To the point where He gets to where I'm doing it. Martha met Him, the Jews which were with her in the house, and comforted her. When they saw Mary that she rose hastily and went out, followed her, saying, she goes unto the grave to weep there. I'm guessing they didn't get it. They looked at her, they looked at the situation. People around you will look at you, look at your situation, and react to whatever you do. They'll react to the flesh. Anyhow, you're reacting to the Spirit of God. They'll come, they'll react, they'll see it wrong, but it doesn't matter. And verse 32, when Mary was come where Jesus was and saw Him, she fell down at His feet, saying unto Him, Lord, if Thou hadst been here, my brother had not died. See, Mary did what Mary did. She worshipped. She never stopped worshiping. When Jesus showed up, she worshipped. Do we stop our worship? When you stop worship, what happens? You get into feeling sorry for yourself, your own strength, self-pity. Then sickness really kicks in. She never stopped worshiping. It all looked bad. He was dead, had been dead 4 days. Everything had completely turned backwards and upside down. Jesus was close by. She knew He was close by. He had died. It all turned bad. And what did she do? Just continue to worship. Nothing changed. In her, nothing changed. To that degree, nothing changed. That should be a constant in our lives. No matter how bad it gets, worship should be a constant. I walk with God should be a constant in our lives. It never should be in question. That's the one thing that should never be in question. So, if you had been here, my brother had not died. All she did was worship. She didn't have the mind of Christ. She didn't have God's view of the situation. All she had was, I worship you. Lord, I know you've got the power. If you'd have been here, something would have happened. So when Jesus therefore saw her weeping, and the Jews weeping, everybody was crying, he groaned in his spirit and was troubled. He said, where have you laid him? They said unto him, Lord, come and see. Jesus wept. This is not a good thing. Seeing all the unbelief and all the problems, we have to, all that was going on around him. Life had shown up on the scene and everybody was weeping because of death. There's times I've been in the presence of God and just wept because of life. Because of the life that was there. They're weeping because of the death and the problems and the struggles. Does that mean we don't cry and weep? No, it doesn't mean that at all. But it means when Jesus shows up, we should change our thinking from what do we see to what does He see. This is what He said, and now He's on the scene to do it. Now it's just a matter of time. He's wanting to know, bring me right to the situation. Let's go right to where it is, because something's about to happen. It's hard to change that thinking, because we've been ingrained, well, you don't understand how long it's been going on. Doesn't matter how long it's been going on. If you're dead 10 years or dead 4 days, what's the difference? Dead is dead. You know, if you're spiritually dead, or you got a dead area in your life, 10 years, 20 years, or 2 days,